Hello there, and a very warm welcome to another edition of Channels Beam. I am Victor Matthias. Cybersecurity Awareness Month is celebrated yearly in the month of October to inform the public of the importance of cybersecurity. Now, the sensitization program also focuses on helping all to be more secure online by being informed and knowing the simple steps to take to protect themselves, their families, their workplaces, as well as their devices. So today on the program, we will look at this year's theme, which is divided into different cybersecurity aspects, and also take a look at how much has been achieved since the beginning of the awareness program over a decade ago. But before we go into the nitty-gritty of that, let's see what made the social media trends in the past week.
An expose on the corruption going on in the Niger police cells and the Niger Correctional Services by investigative journalist Fisayo Soyombo got Nigerians talking. The journalist chronicled his journey from the court to prison, exposing how money exchanges hands for certain favors in courts, cells, and prisons. World Football Governing Body FIFA released a list of exceptional players who will be vying for the most coveted individual prize in football, the Ballon d'Or. The usual suspects, Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, made the list amongst other top performers in 2019.
Well, interesting trends there, but joining us to look at the nitty-gritty of the topic we're discussing today, we have with us in the studio the Director Information Security Development at the Cybersecurity Experts Association of Nigeria, Tunji Igbalajobi. It's a pleasure to have you on the program today.
A player here too.
Of course. And we also have Brian Unduka. He is a cybersecurity expert. Actually, he's one of the foremost activists of cybersecurity in Nigeria. Thanks as well for joining us on the program today.
Thank you, Mr. Victor.
Of course, you're welcome. And we also have joining us via Skype from Nigeria's capital territory, Abuja, Samaila Bako. He is the Director for Information at the Cybersecurity Experts Association of Nigeria. Samaila, it's a pleasure to have you on the program today. Well, we'll still get to Samaila in a bit, but so this is the month of October. So much has been going on, and there's just this campaign, this awareness, trying to get people, aware of their security and how they operate online. Just give us like an overview of what is actually going on.
Well, October is being, tagged the National Cybersecurity Awareness Month globally, and this is a global campaign, and I believe countries across the world are having the cybersecurity awareness for their general populace. And this year, Cybersecurity Awareness Month talks about own it, secure it, and protect it, which is telling us, when you go on the internet, you have to own your information assets. You also have to understand that you have a digital profile. So you must ensure that you own your digital profile. Also secure it. You must ensure that you make use of security best practice to almost every internet activities you go through, social media's accounts, your digital asset on the internet, your digital profile. You ensure that you have better security to access the channel, and the protect is saying, we must continue to ensure that we protect our information assets.
Indeed.
That's basically what the October Cybersecurity Awareness Month for 2019 is all about.
All right, Brian, these threats, how do they work? How do they happen?
It's a digital age where everybody is connected to the internet. The moment you're connected to the internet, you've been exposed. So there's been, that's why we're carrying out the month of October globally to start, enforcing and educate lives and individuals and families too as well. So it's been categorized into different phases. We have the corporate awareness, we have the family ones and the individual ones. So how does it really happen, if you ask me? There are attackers out there, or rather, there are disgruntled employees. That's from the organization part.
Yeah, from so the point of business now.
Yeah, so this is the point of business where you have disgruntled employees and also the cyber attackers. And we've searched out there and we've seen that a lot of information are out there in the dark web. And for the cybersecurity threat to be ongoing, it didn't just start now. And a lot of people had made so much benefit from it, because the reason why you have cyber threats are actually an intention to compromise a network or a systems in your organizations to be able to, you must have heard about the lights of the ransomware, where your system is being
shuts down.
Yeah, shuts down, and
you have to pay.
Yeah, you have to pay some ransom just to get your money back. So it's been out there. So it's something that we need to educate Nigerians, and also we need a lot of synergy between the private sector and the government sector to be able to roll this out.
So that synergy. I mean, how much buy-in do we have? Say from the government at the moment for this awareness now?
Well, truth be told, yeah, we quite have some, ministry development and agency who also, carrying out awareness on their home part. But basically, in terms of governance, oversight, general cybersecurity awareness, and the government taking the full responsibility, I think we are not yet there, from what we have seen as an association. Majorly what we've been doing, is coming from, interest group like us, security experts who just come together and feel the needs, that there's a need for us, to ensure that we take this information outside there to Nigerians and, get them aware of imminent threat on the internet.
For how long has this been going on?
Yeah, well, for the association, we've been ongoing for the past 5 years. And for this month, we've had programs across states in the country. We've had programs in Owerri, a cybersecurity meetup. We've had program in Abuja, cybersecurity meetup. And even now we're having a program in Lagos today. So that is to let you know that association like us are, doing our bit to ensure that, we go outside there and get Nigerians, involved and informed about imminent threat on the internet.
Indeed. Well, let me try to get some insights from Samaila Bako, who is in Abuja and is joining us via Skype. Samaila, once again, thanks for joining us on the program.
You're welcome.
Of course. So we actually have been talking about the Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and we've been looking at issues surrounding cybersecurity, looking at how one can protect himself, what cybersecurity is all about. But, I mean, as an association, you guys have been doing a lot of stuff. Tunji quite enumerated some of those things. But how do people get involved, I mean, outside of, being part of this organization?
You said, how can people get involved in...
Indeed, like how can people just personally get involved in ensuring that more people know about cybersecurity generally?
Oh, okay, so the first step is for you to become enlightened. So when you know about the do's and don'ts on the internet, when you know about the dangers, the risks that are out there, then you can share the world with people around you. So your first target will be your friends and family. And then, for instance, if you're a business owner, you can try to enlighten your staff, organize cybersecurity awareness training for them, and even your customers as well. I think service providers have a lot of work to do in terms of cybersecurity awareness, because like from the banks to the telcos and several other service providers, we need to do more. We need to do better in enlightening their customers.
All right, very well. I mean, this has been going on for quite a while now, but I mean, we still keep having these attacks. So what exactly have we been doing wrong?
I think one reason why these figures keep going up is the same, is the issue of social engineering. So there's a common saying that the human is the weakest link in the security posture of any organization. So you need to make sure, we need to make sure that our employees, our people, especially from like the CEO down to even your gate man, or your security guard, they need to know about the different threats that come to the different people and how they can safeguard against them. Because no matter how much money you spend on technology and you buy firewalls, you pay for antivirus and things like that, if you don't train your people well to configure those things well and then to guard against themselves being used, then the company will still fall victim to such attacks.
All right, indeed. I'll come back to you in a moment again, but so we've had stories. I mean, so the thing is, the human is mostly the weakest link, and you talked about training, you know. So I mean, I'm just thinking. We've heard stories. I mean, the recent one was the one that the business email compromise. So he also talked about clickbaits. So the thing is, we get all these mails with several links, and so how do you verify? How do you verify a link that is genuine and one that isn't?
Well, it still boils down to what we call stop, think, connect. When you receive an information, especially in the light of development that is ongoing, the rampant around the business email scam, is becoming a global challenge, and corporate organizations are losing, millions of naira, millions of dollars to, a business email scam. Like I said, it still boils down to stop, think, connect. Having an understanding of where is the information coming from. There's something we call non-repudiation. If I receive an email from you, then there should be something that indicates that truly that email is coming from you. And by the time the email gets to me, you can't deny that it's not coming from you. So there's a level of trust that I have that the email is coming from you. So people need to understand where the email is coming from.
So like the source now.
The source, and again, you also have to pay attention at the domain name. Sometimes it could be coming from a spoof domain, or it could be coming from a clickjacking domain whereby they actually spoof the email of email of a company or a website of a company, and they are sending an email to you. It could just even be a single alphabet that they will removed, to hold something very close to your domain, and they used to send an email to the victim. But because it's not paying a due diligence, and it's not paying close attention, there will definitely be one or two things that a victim can easily spot, to identify that the email is coming from a particular unauthorized person or somebody with intention to actually, gain a remote access to the system. So, stop, think, connect, and people also need to understand that to be secure, you have to be current on current threats and threats. So it is important that people are constantly aware of what are the imminent threats outside there. What is the latest threat? Do you even update your apps? Do you enable two-factor authentications, that gives you a bit of level of security, across your platform? So people just have to be ensured that,
we're going to get to that. So,
Victor, let me just add to what he's saying. So we can classify this into two separate scenarios, the individual and for the corporate. Yes, for the individual, the email is part of, let's say, like 98% of how you can get compromised, or that's the means of attack. But on the organization part, it's not just email. Email is part of it. They can also come in through the network.
Yeah,
They can also come in through the network, and that is why most organizations are advised to actually have a perimeter protection.
Oh, I see.
Yes. So
what does a perimeter protection mean?
Okay, it means that, let's say, for instance, let me use a typical, this building. A perimeter protection is the fence you have in your building and also the security guards you put in place.
Indeed.
That's a perimeter security. But on the network, it's called a firewall, that a next-generation firewall, that's also an advanced persistent threat for zero-day activities. Because these guys, they disguise as Victor. I can come and disguise as Victor. Your security guys might think it's Victor, but it's actually not Victor.
And they'll let you in.
So they'll let you in. So,
so that's how they attack.
Yeah, so that's how they attack. Then also, they can also, like, you can also get compromised with part of your employees. This is not disgruntled this time. A cleaner, how much a cleaner earns? Maybe 30, 40, 50,000. And I'm outside there telling the cleaner, oh, take. This is 100,000. Please just tell me go to your boss's computer and just plug the USB. I mean,
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Just man, I'm getting scared, but just hold your thoughts for a bit. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back to continue this discussion. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. We still have with us our panelists in the studio here in Lagos, as well as from Skype. in Abuja. So, I mean, earlier on you made mention of the recent threats. I mean,
Yeah.
can you list some of those so that people can know quickly? About around the mic.
Yeah, you know, the threats
Because
are,
this is 2019
yeah,
now.
this is 2019. Application vulnerabilities are becoming a major, especially mobile applications. Mobile application vulnerability are becoming rampant. Ransomware attack is still there, you know, taking over people's system and lock them down that they need to pay ransom. Phishing attack is even very, very much on the rise now. You know, phishing links, phishing emails, phishing websites whereby you can easily download virus, you know, your system. You know, so the threats are numerous. They are there. Social engineering skill is also there, and it's not taking technologies. You know, trying to, you know, get people to divulge confidential information. Identity theft is still very much on the rise. You know, social accounts being hacked are also on the rampant. You know, so the threats are always there. It's just for us to understand that there are methodology and new steps to how this attacker actually carry out,
Yeah.
you know, their attack purpose.
So the issue of one issue that I mean is I'm also guilty is connecting to public Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, how do we? I mean, because you just make yourself vulnerable, so to speak.
Yes, exactly. So you must have. There's no rights. I don't think anybody would come out to tell you their network is protected or is not secure or not. So everybody tends to tell you, oh, it's protected. But you also have to be careful and also mindful of the website you're visiting or the network you're connecting. So there are mobile protection solutions out there that are very good for you to keep you protected. That is if you're using your mobile phone to connect. Then if you're using your laptop to connect as well, you should have a lot of securities put in place for protection.
Indeed. So, like, what's it called now? What's this stuff called that used to protect, like, is it
Antivirus,
antivirus? I mean,
anti-malware,
you guys know
anti-malware,
also.
IDS,
it's a
anti-spam,
lot
anti-spoof.
of that, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let me just quickly get Somala's take on this as well before we wrap this up. Somala, so we're looking at solutions now moving forward. I mean, because we keep having people come online as the year goes by, as the day goes by. I mean, every second, every minute, we have more people coming online. So what should they be doing, you know, moving forward to protect themselves online?
Okay, so the first thing I think we need to talk about is our sharing habits. So I usually tell people that the internet or social media is a hacker's or an attacker's playground. So whenever someone needs to get information about you, one of the first places they check is the internet, and they usually go to social media to pull this information because we usually talk to our friends, we post on our birthdays, talk about our offices, basically talk about our whole lives on social media. So we need to work on our sharing habits. What is too much to share, right? Another thing is our online account management. So many of us don't use two-factor authentication or two-step verification, as WhatsApp calls it. So this gives an extra layer of security, whereas anyone that wants to log into your account needs an extra piece of information beyond your password and username to log in. So we all need to enable two-factor authentication on our online accounts. And then our passwords, we need to treat our passwords like toothbrushes, in the sense that whenever you want to buy a toothbrush, you look for one of high quality or good quality. So your password should be strong, should be of good quality. Secondly, you do not share your password with anyone, right? So the same way your toothbrush, you don't share your toothbrush with anyone. I hope you don't share with anyone. And then thirdly, usually advised by dentists and medical practitioners to change toothbrushes every quarter or every 3 months. So the same thing for your password. You try to make it that regular as much as you can. Then I think one other thing to add for our ATM pins, our phone passcodes and things like that, we shouldn't use dates that are easy to guess. We shouldn't even use dates in the first place.
Maybe
So many
like
of us use our birth
birthdays,
years.
wedding
Yeah,
anniversaries.
exactly. We shouldn't, or
Yeah.
our kids, or yeah, we shouldn't use those kind of things. Same for passwords. We shouldn't use names of people or
All
things
right.
like that because it's very easy to guess.
All right. I have to say thank you for joining us via Skype from Abuja, Director of Communications at Cyber Security Experts Association of Nigeria, Samaila Bako. Thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Of course. Well, I have to say, guys, thanks to you as well, Tunji Balajobi. You are the Director for Information Security Development. Develop more of those information security, and also Brian Nduka, cybersecurity expert and the foremost activist on cybersecurity. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with us on the program. Well, coming up next on the program is the most viewed videos on our YouTube channel in the past week. Please stay with us.
The video of another illegal detention center discovered in Kaduna begins this week's most viewed videos.
What happened this time around, His Excellency the Governor Malam Nasir El-Rufai actually visited that facility and closed it down. And he asked us to remove all the inmates there and secure them. And that was exactly what we did. Just as we did the first time, we brought them to Hajj camp, where we have taken their statistics to find out the actual number of the inmates, which comes up to be 147, out of which 22 are females. And then we have 4 below the age of 18, and then the rest are adults. While also amongst them we have 2 Cameroonians and 2 from Niger Republic.
What they have done is completely illegal. It is a shame and an insult on the people of Kogi State and the entire nation in general. And I think that if our democracy...
In fourth is that of a former deputy governor, maintaining that his impeachment is unconstitutional, null and void.
The entire nation must rise to the occasion to ensure that this lawlessness, as it is being done in Kogi State, is stopped at all costs.
If we do not want to promote the kind of conflict that can go completely out of hand, we must be sure that we are policing ourselves and regulating ourselves, especially on social media.
It is followed by that of the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, warning against the misuse of the social media.
I don't think that government regulation is necessarily the way to go, but I believe that we as persons of faith and we as leaders and those of us who use the social media actively owe a responsibility to our society.
Second spot is taken by the video of flooded areas in the Sherry Opik area of Lagos State. While first is the video of a multiple car accident on the Otedola Bridge in Lagos that left 2 people dead.
And there you go. Those were the most viewed videos on our YouTube channel in the past week. And that's where we wrap it up on this edition of the program as well. But as always, we do continue the conversation via the social media addresses showing on your screen. Thank you for watching. I'm Victor Matthias. Bye for now.